Greetings, fellow teachers. We teach the individuals that are the future of our country, and it is our responsibility to provide opportunities for each student to be successful both inside and outside the classroom. We need to provide an equal opportunity for students to reach success in the classroom through the use of strategies, accommodations, and advocating for them in every possible way. Integrating effective strategies into social studies lessons would provide students with the chance to understand the content and motivate them to stay engaged throughout the lesson. Differentiation is essential in the classroom because it shows that the teacher values that individual student and demonstrates the belief that all students can learn. Differentiation also used to foster motivation and self-esteem into their self-efficacy. Students who are encouraged and motivated daily to be their best will often rise to the occasion and strive to reach their goals. Research shows that students who have been provided opportunities to engage with the content lead in a differentiated atmosphere leads to a greater achievement levels, increases in attitude, and increase in test scores. According to Tomlinson, all students should feel that they are being pushed every day to show that students need to be challenged to reach their full potential. The purpose for differentiation is to provide students with ways to interact with content that best suits their learning style and caters to their needs. One method of implementing differentiation is to recognize multiculturalism, or the application of multiple cultures in the classroom. Students have many different backgrounds, race, ethnicities, and experiences that shape who they are as individuals and contribute to their preferred learning environments. According to Dwyer, multicultural education considers several dimensions, including content integration, knowledge construction, prejudice reduction, equity, pedagogy, and empowering school culture. There are many ways to apply multiculturalism to the social studies discipline in the classroom. One way is to incorporate folk tales from different cultures, like the Native Americans, to better understand the history of their beliefs and traditional customs. Another example of applying multiculturalism is to host a cultural heritage day in your own classroom where students would invite their relatives from different cultures to tell about how their way of living is different from the American culture. Implementing multicultural literature such as the story Esperanza Rising by Pam Munoz Ryan is an effective way to reinforce the content of Latino cultures to contrast with how American families live. The possibilities are endless, and exposure to more cultures will create more rounded individuals who appreciate differences in cultures. Teachers can present content in ways that help their students learn best. One way to accomplish this is through learning styles and the multiple intelligence theory that are both methods of differentiating instruction for students. Learning styles are ways in which students learn best, such as visual, kinesthetic, auditory, and tactile. The multiple intelligence theory was created by Howard Gardner that states humans can have linguistic, logical, mathematical, spatial, bodily kinesthetic, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalist, and existential intelligence. One example of integrating learning styles and multiple intelligences is through making up a song about the 13 colonies of the United States and moving with motions to match the words with the song. This strategy would cater to the musical intelligence, bodily kinesthetic intelligence, auditory learning style, and the kinesthetic learning style. Another example of this would be to have students act out a scene from the Boston Tea Party to cater to the students' spatial intelligence because it involves utilizing space. Visual learning style, kinesthetic learning style through movement around the classroom, and interpersonal intelligence through working in groups. Students could also be required to write a song while holding tea bags in this reenactment of Boston Tea Party to cater to the auditory and tactile learners in the classroom as well. The learning styles and multiple intelligences are truly a great method to differentiate content for students in the classroom. Learning styles and multiple intelligences could also be applied to a social studies lesson about the 6 landform regions of South Carolina as a 3rd grade standard. In one part of the lesson, one could present the content using visuals to cater to the visual learning style. Then they could wrap the South Carolina regions wrap for the auditory learning and musical intelligence, with the hand motions to reinforce the learning for bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Students could then create a model of the 6 landforms with real materials to cater to the naturalistic intelligence with a report to explain the regions to address the linguistic and logical intelligences. Learning styles and multiple intelligences contribute to the student's learning experience and provide students with meaningful insight into the content of lessons because of the way the content is presented. As teachers, we should strive to facilitate our students in every possible way. Our students need to learn the way that benefits them the most in understanding content, and some need more accommodations than others. Another method to implementing differentiation in the classroom is to recognize that students need accommodations based on their abilities to help them learn best. This can be referred to as response to intervention, which is an approach to help students receive the accommodations they need to be successful. The tiered learning approach under RTI, or response to intervention, extends the supports for students. Tier 1 services are provided in the general education classroom. Tier 2 provides for children based on children's strengths and weaknesses. Tier 3 is the most intense, and individualized services are provided for each child. One example of meeting these needs in a social studies lesson is in a lesson about the effects of Reconstruction. Tier 1 would be the lesson that the teacher teaches to the whole group with the supplemental tools of videos and other strategies. After formative assessments, the students who are in need of more assistance are placed in Tier 2 and given more customized intervention through a tiered graphic organizer to separate the period of Reconstruction as an easier method to see visually. When a student is still struggling in Tier 2, the process of counseling and conferencing take place to decide individualized differentiation. The teacher could implement a personal planner for the unit on Reconstruction, where they can use a checklist as they complete assignments. The tiered learning is a great way to implement differentiation for students who can benefit from teachers going the extra mile to help them achieve their goals. Other ways to implement response to intervention in a social studies lesson is to implement cooperative learning groups to analyze a piece of Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. Teachers can also cater to the strengths and weaknesses of students by providing explicit instructions that are easy to understand for activities. This will also increase classroom management and benefits the students as well. Response to intervention is an essential part of education because children need us to be the advocate for their learning so that they can be successful in society. Overall, our students deserve our best so that they can be their best. We can meet the diverse needs of our students because this isn't just our job, but it is our calling. Differentiation is an effective method of transforming lessons into attainable content through the use of implementing strategies that cater to students' diversity, learning styles, multiple intelligences, and implementing RTI to advocate for the students. Multiculturalism is an effective way to build a sense of community within the classroom and can be easily implemented into your social studies lessons. Addressing students' learning styles and multiple intelligences are methods to make their learning meaningful for them as an individual. The last method of implementing the response to intervention tiered learning method is a great way to provide students with beneficial, individualized accommodations to promote student learning. Differentiation is important to ensure that each student has an equal opportunity to learn and be successful inside and outside the classroom. So let's invest in the present so that we can invest in the future.